Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, May the 4th, 2022, and I am here with Miss Deb Lutz. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and we're here together to go over this two-game slate. And of course, we're representing our Dallas basketball and our Phoenix Suns. So that was unplanned, but we both came prepared. And there, by the way, there's another game, Philadelphia and Miami, that's in the mix here. So how you doing, Deb?
Doing all right. Looking
Yeah.
forward to turning things around today.
Yes. I would assume, though, you're feeling still a little frosty about that initial Phoenix win.
Enjoying myself. The hangover's still there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I look at it this way. This is the big one because just getting the split on the road is going to be the key. So Dirk's ready. Dirk's he's pulled out. He brushed his teeth. See how shiny white they are? He's ready to go.
All right. Bring it, Coach.
All right. We're going to go after it. And for those tuning in, maybe you haven't caught us before. What we do is provide here at Coach Talk DFS cores and lineups and clipboards for all three main sites, Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. And then a huge lean now towards Prizepicks. Prizepicks has become a huge player in the props playing area. And we provide both Prizepicks, which we'll have some picks for you today, and for our DFS members. If you want to get involved with us, just go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as a 3-day pass for 10 measly bucks. All right, we're going right after this. First game, 7:30 p.m., so we get the extra half an hour again. It's a 7:30 and a 10 o'clock game. The 7:30 game is the Philadelphia 76ers at the Miami Heat. Miami favored by a big 9 points. Nobody believing in Philly here without Embiid. And the total's only 206.5. So big spread, small total is usually not very conducive to friendly DFS rostering. So how about Philadelphia here, Deb, has an implied total of only 98.75. Wow. What the heck?
Yeah, it's missing Embiid's, 26 points a game, right?
Exactly. And I guess everybody's decided Harden's just incapable of, producing those big numbers, but it is what it is. Miami is 107.75. And something to take note of when we go over the Dallas Phoenix game, the total is it's 9.5 points higher. So that'll be the big question as we go through this Philadelphia Miami game. Is it going to be stacked Dallas Phoenix, or are we still going to have a decent representation here? Miami has continued to pull their shenanigans, Deb. Can you believe this? They have Hero, Martin, Strus, Tucker, and Vincent all questionable again, which is annoying.
Yeah, because they're all going to play.
They're all going to play. And Kyle Lowry is out. We know that. And we know Embiid is out. So there's no mysteries here. Just count everybody in. It's the same old baloney here. I don't know why they don't fine Miami for doing that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So a couple of things here as we break this down. Let's look at game one. We talked a lot about matchups and how things would play out. And we did see some trends here in this game. Miami won 106-92. And as far as the Philadelphia side, again, people wanted to know if Harden was going to step up and take control. He only took 13 shots, Deb. That's it. He was 5 for 13. Not very James Harden-esque whatsoever. And then Tobias Harris led the way with 18 shots. But it was not a pretty sight for Philly. They looked sort of defeated before they even went after it. And then, as far as the minutes go, when you're going to break this one down, Harris led the way with almost 37 minutes, Maxey 35, Harden just under 35, and to only get 13 shots up is amazing. And then would you believe who's next on this list? Georges Niang, 22 minutes. Who saw that coming?
Yeah,
I
and
knew
he
he'd
did
get,
nothing. Wasn't he
yeah,
like 0 for 7?
he was 0 for 7 with no rebounds, one
Yeah.
assist. Yeah. So, yeah. And Danny Green, I forgot him because he's very forgettable. 26 minutes. After that, though, you had that nightmare at center with Jordan 17 minutes, Paul Reed 13. They played Matisse Thybulle 15. Even Paul Millsap got in there for 5.5. Cork Maz for 9.5. It was a disaster. What?
They
Where
brought
do you
Bassey
start?
in, didn't they?
Yes, for
Bassey
sure.
played.
So where do you start with Philly? What are you
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah, so, I think everyone's waiting for Harden to have that big game, but at this point, I just don't even know if it's coming. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
what's wrong with him, but, against a different team, maybe, but against Miami and their tough D, I can't chance it. So I'm not going after Harden.
yeah,
And, Maxey, he's a great player. He's a star in the making, but he did show his youth a little bit and inexperience in this game. And so I
yeah,
think I'm going to stay away there as well. I'm really going to focus on Harris, who's still sub 8K, very fair price on both sites.
for sure.
And he, I think he put up the most shots. He clearly was the, kind of the leader on the court.
Yeah,
Um, I'm going to start there and then I am going to look at Reed again. I mean, Reed looked good when he was out there. He just got into foul trouble. So
right.
if he can stay out of foul trouble and, get 50% more minutes.
How do you get 5 fouls in 13 minutes?
Exactly.
What the heck?
Hard to do.
Yes,
So someone's going to talk to him and explain that he's got to stay out there longer. And I think he can produce in the time he's out there, as
right.
opposed to old man Jordan, who's not producing for anyone. I don't know why
Yeah.
he's still in
You
the league.
heard what Doc said though, right?
What was
In the
that?
press conference, he said, "I know none of you want us to play. The fans, the press don't want us to play DeAndre Jordan, but he's starting. He's going to keep starting." So I'm not sure
Okay,
what.
right,
Yeah. All
sure.
right, Doc. You're going to lose again, buddy.
Exactly. Um, and then a little sneaky value play who I'm kind of keeping in my pool for GPPs is Cork Maz.
Okay.
So he has not gotten a lot of minutes, but you saw they played Niang, and Niang was just terrible.
Yeah.
They need offense desperately, and Cork Maz is really the only guy on the bench aside, frankly, who can drum up some offense. And so he's only 3,400 on DK. So I'm gonna keep him in my pool as maybe a last guy fill in.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, he can definitely knock a few threes down if he gets the minutes. But yeah, it's this game is going to be rough. I just Philadelphia is just a disaster right now. I mean, I don't see how they compete very well in this game at all. And I'm certainly going to be stacking the second game. Not only, like I said, are the numbers low here, but Miami's defense is strong and Philadelphia is just in a tumble. A point about James Harden. Everybody's saying, well, he's older, he's not fitting in there yet. All this baloney. Do you know that you look at his career in the playoffs? He chokes a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this isn't a new thing. I mean, yeah, maybe he's older now, maybe he's injured a little bit, whatever the case may be. But he has not been a guy throughout his career on some of those good Houston teams and Oklahoma City teams that really stepped up and had a good playoff series. Very
Excellent
seldom.
point.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Yeah. So I'm not going there either. He's still super expensive and has not showed a glimmer. If he decides all of a sudden he's going to have one of his games, so be it. But I'm not buying into it anymore. I'm just going to start like everybody else, monster chalk Tobias Harris. He's the only guy that showed up. He's the only vet on this team that still has any game remaining. Granted, he's not going to shoot 61% like he did 11 for 18, but he's going to hit the glass. He can get you some stocks. I think Tobias Harris is the safe play on Philly. After that, I still believe in Tyrese Maxey. It was sort of a fluky game, I think. I mean, 0 rebounds and only 2 assists in 35 minutes. How does that happen? I mean, he's an athlete, It's crazy. So I'm still believing in Tyrese Maxey. I think really the Harris Maxey duo are really the only people I'm interested in. I think he shoots a little better. I mean, he was only 1 for 6 from 3. He'll knock some of those down. And there's no doubt he's going to get some peripheral stats. 0 steals and 0 blocks, too. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's hard to do.
An empty lineup.
Yeah, crazy. So I believe he's the bounce back guy that a lot of people are going to be ticked off at. So really, that's it for me with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I don't know if this game stays close enough. A 9 might not be enough points,
Right. I hear you. Yeah, and then on the Miami side, I mean, that's the thing. Does this blow out, right? And then everyone,
That's the problem.
those
Yeah,
8 players who are all game time decisions, end up getting 18 minutes each.
exactly.
For that reason, Oladipo is not out of my consideration at 3,900 on FanDuel and 4,500 on DK. We've seen
I
in,
agree.
sort of garbage time that he can just rack up the points.
He's a chuck and duck it guy, no doubt.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to hold him there. And then, but I do like Adebayo. I mean, I think he will, he's still fairly priced. Butler's a little expensive, but 8,300 on FanDuel, 8K on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair price for Adebayo.
I agree. I mean, I think he's the strongest play. And again, he's going to be dead chalk, but
Yeah.
he's the only center of value in this series. And, he could have had a much bigger game than he even did. 8 for 10 from the field, 8 for 8 from the foul line,
Yeah.
12 rebounds, a block, a couple of steals. I mean, I think he needs to be in lineups, and he'll certainly be in all of mine.
Yeah, he looked good.
Go ahead.
He looked good.
He did. He did look good. He looked healthy, and which he didn't in the first series. So that's something to take note. After that, though, I don't want to spend up for Jimmy buckets. I don't know if they, in crunch time in a tight game, maybe when they're in Philly, but I don't know. I don't know if they need him to play big minutes. He barely played 30 in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, you've got some value in a Strus or a Vincent, 32 and 29 minutes, respectively. Hero got it done for me, but 17 shots. I love that. If he's going to continue to get the 15 to 20 shots up, I think he's a fine play at a fair price. And I'm with you. I think they give Oladipo, a good 25, 28 minutes again. And he doesn't get cheated when he's out there. He's involved and he's going to get shots up and he's cheap. So that's really the only group that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to this big game of the night?
The matchup.
It is, of course, the Dallas Mavericks at the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix by 6, which seems like the right spread. 216 is the total. So again, you've got 9.5 points more to work with in this game. 105 implied for Dallas, 111 for Phoenix. So the big thing is we know Hardaway's out. He's been out forever for Dallas. We know Sarge is out. He's been out. So it's everybody, everybody to the table. Everybody's ready to go. And now it's just a matter of seeing who's going to step up and get it done. I mean, Luka was Luka again. We talked about it on the podcast of, I'm trying to fade Luka. I'm going to try to build a lineup without him, and I couldn't do it. He's just so ball dominant, so usage dominant. I mean, number 1 for the year in usage in the league for his team, in anybody in the league. And that says a lot. And I think you got to start with him again. What do you think, Deb?
Yeah. I tried hard to say, okay, how can I pay, over 11,700 on FanDuel and 11,400.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And it's, more than on this slate, it's like, more than 2,700 than the next guy.
It's
so
crazy.
But then I did the math and I said, well, would I rather have that or would I rather have a Finney Smith and a Dinwiddie? And,
exactly.
The answer is pretty clear. I'd put my money on Doncic. Doncic. There we go again. Now you got me. Now I'm never going to get it right.
I'm not buying that was a mistake Nice try.
At least I don't say donkey,
Exactly.
But I think the interesting thing from last game is that these are two really sharp defensive teams. But where was the defense? I mean, it was 135 points.
Yeah. Well,
Or
we
sorry,
did
200,
say on the
235
podcast,
points.
we said to play the over. We
Yeah,
thought it
that's
would
right.
be a higher scoring game.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the question is, does the defense bear down for this one, or is there another high scoring game? Because I think that higher score helped Luka to get his number.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go there. I think he is the guy. If they have any shot in this game, it's going to be through him. So,
Right.
I'm sticking with Luka. I also do like. I mean, I was making fun, but I do like Finney Smith in this game. I think he's been playing really solid.
Yeah.
As opposed to Bullock. Bullock does not play well against the Suns, and so I'm gonna edge towards Finney Smith in this one. He's getting a lot of minutes. He's got those peripherals. And, I saw him getting in there to get those rebounds. He was really active. I like him. I also, Dinwiddie's a fair price. And so someone in that mid-range, I like him a little bit better than like a Strus or maybe even somebody like a Crowder. So I like him in that spot. And that's going to be it for me. I'm staying away from Maxey. I'm not going to get caught up in that. I think he has had a couple of great games in his past 3 or 4 games, hitting those threes, but I think they stopped that a little bit better this game.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'll sneak up on him like he did this last game, but he kept the Mavs in it for quite a while there, hitting 5 threes. But I mean, he could be the trap, guy that everybody goes to. I think he'll play decent minutes though. I think he will get 25 to, minutes plus. He played 24 minutes and 53 seconds in this last game, and he was red hot. So my concern is, what if there's a little regression to that,
Right.
And
he
so
didn't do anything but hit threes. I mean, there were rebounds and nothing.
Yeah, he did nothing else. And usually he does a little bit. He'll get some rebounds and do a few things, but yeah, it's risky. And I think he'll be overowned because everybody saw, the beginning of that game where he was making everything. But the point with Luka is this: he played 44 minutes and 23 seconds. He took 30 shots. He took 11 threes. He had 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and a block. Now, I mean, the raw points, I just don't understand how you could possibly play a cash or hybrid or single entry without him. I just don't think you can chase that many points. I mean, he could be 13K, and I'd still think you almost have to go there because you can't chase 65, 70 fantasy points in a 2-game slate. So, again, this isn't a Mavs fan speaking because I was trying to find every which way I could to fade him last time. And it's just, he's too powerful. He doesn't have any other partners to get it done, like a Paul Booker and Ayton and all those guys, and when you're a solo deal, I mean, that's DFS city right there. So I'm going to find a way to fit him, which means you have to find some value somewhere. I'm with you on Finney Smith. I mean, he's averaging over 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. So, I mean, that alone with his hustle, and he can knock down a few threes, I think is a good play. But, finding the cheap guy, and I know I hate to do it because it seems like the giant, Roadrunner thing where the sucker's sitting there and then the rock falls down and squishes the coyote, picking Maxi Kleba here, but he's cheap and I do think he'll get minutes and, he's in consideration for me. After that, Bullock had a really bad game. Like you said, he doesn't usually play well against the Suns. It's not a great matchup for him, but they've got to play him. There's just not a lot of options. Bertans, Green, Ntilikina, they should not see the floor. So, if Bullock gets back to 40 minutes here where he only had 32 and a half, again, he's cheaper. I think he's going to get on the floor, and I think he's an option for me. But after that, Brunson is just too expensive. He did have a really bad game for him, though. And I think he'll do better, but I don't know if it validates that salary,
Yeah.
And then after that, Dinwiddie, he did get 30 minutes, but I don't know. I'm not thrilled with his price. I think it should be cheaper in a backup role without starting. So not going to go very deep after Luka, other than, taking a look at Finney Smith and then, the sucker play in, Kleba. So we'll see how that goes. How about your Suns? What do you think here? They were just an absolute juggernaut. They look like the champs to me. I feel like a huge underdog coming into this game. They look tough.
They got it back together. I was happy to see, Booker looking healthy, and, finally Crowder, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, they were all contributing and hitting their shots. And that was not happening at the end of the New Orleans series. So, so I was excited to see that. I do think it's a good matchup for the Suns. So, I do see them winning again at home. I think it'll be pretty close, and there's a good chance I'm going to be at the game. So,
oh, you're going to the game?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun too. I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice.
I've never seen Luka play live, so
oh wow,
that should be exciting.
Very nice.
Yeah, so there's a number of guys that I'm looking at. I think for me, Booker is a little bit of a split. On DK, he's 8,200, which I think is an incredible price. He's going to be in all my lineups. 9,300 on FanDuel, so I likely will not play him there. That's a little high for Booker, but I like the 8,200 a lot. Cam Johnson versus old man Crowder.
Yep.
You gave me the narrative on Crowder, and he did play well. He had a good game.
He did. He was pretty
really
intense. I took a little heat on Twitter about Crowder and Payne, and they both showed up, so I felt good about it.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still going to – Cam Johnson's a little less expensive. I think he's got some more upside. I just like his explosiveness. I think he'll be a little lower owned as well. So I'm eyeing him in that mid range. I am also gonna keep Payne on my radar screen. I think he gets if he can get that 18 to 20 minutes, he can deliver. He's only 3,400 on DK. Yep. I mean, that's for that's for someone who is pretty consistent in delivering. That's pretty good. And then Bridges, particularly on DK at 6K, like you said last time. I mean, the guy plays like 33, 34 minutes, and he's all over the place.
He played 42 minutes.
Yeah. Unreal. So I'm looking at him as well. Really the only guy that I'm not looking at is Chris Paul. Again, he, still priced a little high, did not, solid game, but he doesn't need to play huge right now. So I think he's gonna reserve a little in the tank for when he's needed. So I'm gonna stay away from him.
I was shocked he only had 3 assists. I thought that was an odd
oh my gosh, I had that as my prize picks. I mean, and I'm thinking about it again. Like, when's the last time that he had 2 games in a row with less than 10 assists?
Not often. 3 assists and 1 turnover. I mean, that's like his worst ratio ever. So very bizarre. You know what? I'll tell you one thing, though. The reason I have some hope that Dallas can come in and compete in this game is Phoenix shot the eyes out of the hoop. I mean, they were 46 for 91 from the field, almost 51%. And, when you shoot 51% from the field and 40% from 3 and 100% from the foul line, 18 for 18, I mean, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's a little regression there. I know both teams want to tighten up the defense. For me, I'm on a similar path with you, but the guy you didn't talk about is the guy that I'm most intrigued with here. I need your opinion because I cannot figure out Mr. DeAndre Ayton here. I faded him last time, and he, 12 for 20 from the field, 8 rebounds. Is he going to be a key component, you think, in this game? And I know he is in this series, but What do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, if you watch the game, he looks like he can just get anything that he
Right.
wants. What was disappointing to me is his lack of rebounding. He at times seems like he's just disinterested. He doesn't sort of give
Correct.
it 100% all the time.
Yep.
I think his pricing is fair. I think you have to, weigh an Adebayo versus an Ayton, for sure, particularly when you're only looking at one center on FanDuel. Although Adebayo, I think, is still qualifying as power forward. But he's definitely, I think you can look to him. I think he's probably going to get somewhere around that 40. I don't see him going for 50 or 60. I think right now there's just with Booker healthy and the other guys playing well, there's almost just too many options. They play such a team ball that the usage just isn't there for anyone. So so I think he's definitely worth considering, but not a must play in my mind.
See, after watching that, I knew, and I've talked about it like every day throughout the season. And the Mavericks have no interior defense. They have no rim protector. When Klebe is in there at center, he can't defend, in the paint. He can go play people away from the basket, but, not in the paint. And Dwight Powell, just totally outmanned. And after that, they don't have anybody. So I don't know. It looked to me as Monty wanted to make a point to get Ayton involved, because if he's involved offensively, he plays. If they don't get him the ball, he starts just to run around the floor and not do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not a big fan of his. I just don't like his motor, but I think that it's just too much of a mismatch. I know Dallas, when they went small, they played better, so they're probably going to try to go small again. And with Klebe at the 5, or when they go super small and play Finney Smith at the 5, if Ayton's in the game, like you said, he could pretty much get anything he wants. So I'm really looking strong at him here after the full fade. And again, I don't get him right often, so I'm not saying that he's a plug and play. But he should dominate every game in this series in the paint.
Yeah,
That's
totally. I do agree.
Like 7'2", and just like a gigantic
exactly
athlete. He should. The fact that he doesn't have 15 rebounds a game is just ridiculous.
Well, that's what was crazy to me, was the lack of rebounding. But
Booker out rebounded him. Booker had 9 rebounds.
Exactly. I certainly wouldn't do a total fade on him. I think he's worth taking a look at, seeing how he fits in the lineup. The place I would play him, though, is Prizepicks NBA first half, because that is, to your point, they get to him early, or they get the ball to him early. He gets involved early, and then he sort of fizzles. So where he really did his damage was in the first half of the game, and that's fairly typical for him.
It really is. And I think that's exactly what Monty's telling Chris Paul. Hey, make sure to get Ayton involved early, so we have him playing hard, because if not, he just sort of fades into the into the sunset. So but I'm worried about him, and I think that he may be a strong play here. I'll still, it's hard not to like Bridges, just because he never comes off the floor and he is talented. Crowder's so cheap, and Payne, and I've given, for those that missed the last podcast, they both have some Mavericks ties that I sort of went in depth about, and neither one was real thrilled with the Mavericks when they weren't brought back or offered a contract. So they've got a little extra motivation here. Booker looked terrific. I have to say, he looked wonderful. And really, he was 7 for 20, but he got 20 shots up. So Book's a hard one not to go after. I like him better than Paul as well. Although, Paul's going to have one of those 12 assist, no turnover games. It's just a matter of time. But I've got to go on the cheap. If you're going to take Luka, if I like Bam, if I'm looking at Ayton and these guys, you gotta find value somewhere. For me, I'm with you on Cameron Johnson. He can get points in bunches. Cam Payne as a real cheap option, as well as I think is one of the guys you're going to have to go to, because if you can't find the value, you can't buy up. And so I'm back to my build that I had most of the year. Stars and scrubs is what I'm going to be looking at here and trying to make that work as best as possible. So that's what I've got. Anything else on Phoenix for you?
That's it for me.
All right, let's jump on Prize Picks and knock that out real quick.
Cool.
Do you have one teed up that you're ready for?
I do. So my first one is actually we discussed, how I like him for DK here.
Okay.
Dorian Finney-Smith at
Yes.
over 19 projected points, rebounds, and assists.
Interesting. Okay. I like it. My first one's going to be Mikal Bridges over 1.5 blocks, steals. He's a terrific defender. He's going to be on Luka as we thought, but they did brush him off. That's, again, that's what we said we thought could happen is they're going to, set that screen and try to bump Bridges off, but it's still going to put him into a position to blitz and get some deflections and some steals. So I really like the over 1.5 blocks and steals for Mikal.
I love that one.
All right. You got a second one by any chance?
I do. I am going with, that's the one I mentioned, DeAndre Ayton, over 9.5 points in the first half.
Okay. I like that for sure. And believe it or not, I have DeAndre Ayton over 10 rebounds after I just dogged him, said that he doesn't play hard, Booker out rebounded him. I mean, he had 8 rebounds and didn't crash the glass, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And, if he's going to get minutes, if Dallas can keep it within what Vegas thinks, 6-7 points, whatever, I don't know how he can get 10 rebounds accidentally, I think.
I agree. He should be getting,
so I think that's a really solid play.
Like it. I like it.
Excellent. All right. We promised we would try to get this done a little bit quicker today, and I think we were successful.
We did pretty well.
We didn't do bad at all. So I really appreciate it. And thank you for stepping in. I screwed up the schedule, full disclosure here, because I just want to make sure that we did these two. We do all the Mavs Suns games. So you'll be back hopefully the day after tomorrow or whenever the next game is, and is the game 3.
You may not want to keep doing with me as the season goes on. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to be 1-1. That's all I'm saying. Well, thank you, Deb. Really appreciate it. Great job as usual. And everybody that listened in, we really appreciate it. I would like to thank, we have a new offer, and I'll close with that real quickly. It's betus.com.pa. I've been a member there for years. Deb also took advantage of the BetUS offer a while back. And we're doing a 2-month free for a $149 deposit. And I just got an offer from them that we just approved today. And it's, if you deposit your first deposit, if you go to betus.com.pa, use the promo code Coach Talk, only deposit $79 and they'll give you matches and all kinds of free stuff. You get a free month of Coach Talk, 4 full weeks of Coach Talk for free. You can play your plays on BetUS, and they are very reputable. I've been there 16 years, so they've never let me down. So take advantage of that, and certainly Prize Picks as well. We appreciate them. And if you want to join us, it's dfscoachtalk.com. Also on Twitter, if you're going to follow us there, we're at DFS Coach Talk. I am at Joe Sarvati. And Deb, tell them where they can find you on Twitter.
Sure. I'm at Deb Lutz 33.
Deb Lutz 33. Okay. Sounds good. I think we got everything covered.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Deb. And hopefully when we talk next, it'll be 1-1. Enjoy the game, by the way.
Thank you.
Send us post something on Discord for our members. And when Luke is hitting one of those one-legged fadeaways.
You got it. Awesome.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening in. Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll be back again next time when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and Prize Picks.